Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's guest is Evgeny Shtembuliak. He is the world chess champion under 20. Zhenya, tell us, how does it feel to be the world chess champion?
To be honest, I don't really remember anymore because it's been 6 years or so. Also, I typically go by Evgeny Shtembuliak because, people can't really spell Zhenya in English, but that's okay.
Yeah, sorry, I understand.
You could still call me Zhenya though.
Yeah, thanks, because in Ukraine we call our friends Zhenya if they are Evgeny, but in English-speaking countries, how did they call you?
Just Evgeny.
Evgeny,
my full name.
Or Jack, you said?
No.
No? Okay. Also, Zhenya is a chess coach, full-time chess coach, right?
Somewhat.
How many students do you have, Zhenya?
I don't really have many students. I'm working on multiple projects all at once, so I don't really do coaching full-time.
Do you have some famous students?
I don't really know what you mean by famous.
Famous chess players, strong chess players, or other popular people in their fields? I don't know.
Maybe.
You can tell.
I'm not sure. I'm not working with any professional players, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, so they are amateurs.
Yeah, mostly amateur players or kids that are, growing up and learning the game, but yeah, no professional players.
All right. We are going to analyze a game with Zhenya for you, with Evgeny. Then we're going to play a game together, but not a normal game. It's going to be a bit harder for Evgeny because his rating is much higher than mine, as you have seen on your screen. His rating is more than 2600. So I created some tasks and questions for Zhenya. And we will play a game 15 minutes, no increments. And before he moves his pieces, he has to answer the question. I hope you will answer some long answers. I hope so.
I will take as much time as I can.
Not just yes or no, just answer these questions, please. This is really interesting. Then we are going to review a book by Caruana. We will tell you our honest opinion on this book, and I want you to tell me in comments if you would like me to do that more, to review some more books if you like this. Okay, first of all, I would like to start with analyzing. Zhenya, are you up for it?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Thanks. Okay, we have journal, German journal. Just because I ordered a book. Do you speak German, by the way?
No, not really.
Not really.
Know a few words here and there, but yeah, not much.
Okay, so I don't speak German neither, but as we all speak chess language, so
yep.
I found a chess game which we are going to analyze together.
But it's all good, we don't need their low-level analysis, we can do our own.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, we can try. But anyway, we can understand what they're talking about, even in German. By the way, I'm going to learn German.
Oh, wow.
I will start next year, January.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Would you like to take journal?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that would be better, I guess.
So maybe I'll tell you the moves as white, and I will play out the moves as black.
Yeah.
So white starts out with pawn to e4, and black plays pawn to c5, which is the Sicilian defense. I would say it's one of the most ridiculous openings in chess, because if you look at the board, it's one of the weirdest moves that you could play. Because what are you typically told when you start learning chess? That you got to spend your first few moves preparing your position for a future fight. And for that, you have to develop your pieces all towards the center. But look what you're doing with this move. You're not really opening up any of these pieces, which in itself is already a bit weird to do on the first move. But then even worse, what you're doing is you're also blocking that bishop for the future. So what I would suggest, guys, you all do is when you start learning the opening, try to understand like what's actually the purpose of the first move. Because the move is quite advanced, but you have to be a pretty good player to really understand what the move means. So now let's see what they played here. So white went knight f3.
Yeah, can I interrupt you for a second?
Of course.
I am surprised by your presentation of the Sicilian defense. I was listening like, wow, that's really...
Yeah, but think about it, right? Like if you're a beginner and you look at this move, this is one of the weirdest moves you could make. The move is very deep in itself. Like it has a lot of deep strategic ideas, but yeah, most players would never really be able to understand them.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens here. So white played knight f3, black goes d6, and now white plays d4, entering the open Sicilian. Now let's, pay attention to this other pawn move. So this pawn move opened up this bishop, but at the same time it closed down this bishop even more. And yet black hasn't developed any of their pieces. So let's go further. Black takes, you take back with the knight. Black finally develops knight f6, attacking this pawn, so white has to defend it. They go knight to c3. And now black plays pawn to a6. Again, as a beginner player, when you look at this, you should be like, what is going on here? Because again, you're not taking any time to develop any of these pieces. You push the pawn randomly on the other side of the board in the corner. And unless you're, again, a very seasoned player, you're not really going to be able to understand the purpose behind the move. But, to be fair, this is one of the most played, the most popular lines in the Sicilian that is played by top grandmasters every day.
What's your feelings about this position, as black as white? Do you have your preferences here? Have you ever played this line?
Yeah, it depends on who I'm playing against. Yeah. So I haven't really played this a lot in the classical games. I played it a bit more in Blitz. The position is very complicated. So yeah, I don't really have much preference. I just, play and see what happens. So white plays bishop e3, developing the bishop. Nope, I apologize. It's German notation. So that was bishop to c4.
Okay.
Okay, and now black plays pawn to e6. And again, what is this move? So far, black has only developed one piece. They blocked both of their bishops with these pawns, right? And they made some random pawn move on the side. So this is how grandmasters play chess. Don't try to understand it. It obviously has some, deeper strategic ideas. So like this whole pawn shield is basically gonna make it harder for these minor pieces to penetrate and attack the king. So there is some value in that. But again, to be able to understand that, you have to have quite a high level. So let's see what happens next. White castle short. And this is where I think black makes a pretty big mistake. They go knight bd7. Looks like a regular move. Black is simply developing the knight. However, now this pawn on e6 is attacked twice by white's knight and bishop and only defended once by black's pawn. So if white decides to take it, they could sacrifice a piece and open up the center of the board. So just a minute ago, I was telling you how these pawns were restricting all the pieces. if these 2 pawns are gone, then white's piece is gonna, jump around the board and do whatever they want. And that's exactly what white decided to go for here. So they sacrifice the bishop, as bishop takes e6, pawn takes, and now knight takes e6. So at this point, white is down a piece for 2 pawns, but now there are no pawns in the middle really that are preventing white's pieces from coming in closer and attacking even more things. And that's really the point of this whole sacrifice. On top of that, the queen is under attack. So black has to react to what white does, because otherwise they're going to lose their queen and lose the game. At this point, the queen has to move on this diagonal. And the reason why is if the queen moves here, there is a very beautiful fork, and black can say bye-bye to their rook. So let's move back a little bit. So at this point, the queen is under attack and white is prepared to go aggressive. So let's see what they did in the game. In the game, black played queen to a5. So I think this is where it gets interesting. What do you think about the position?
I am not sure if I would have found bishop takes a6 if I wouldn't know this line. Did you know this position?
Not really, because again, you have to understand when you play such an opening as the Sicilian defense, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of different lines that you could play in different move orders. So I obviously don't remember any of them, and I never really studied any of them. I just understand the overall, things in the position, and that kind of helps me find these moves a bit faster.
Yeah, I mean, if I would play this position, definitely I would think, oh, is this sacrifice really worth this position? Like, is it good for me? And even after I would found the move, because I already know the move. Sorry, I prepared this game.
I thought it was just a random page from this journal. No, okay.
No.
Okay.
There was a long way here. I had 3 hours and I had a journal and the book, so I tried to find the right game for today's lesson. But yeah, I would definitely be worried about my position. But when you know and you think about it, you start to understand why. And of course, if you sacrificed your pieces, you have to predict if you can take some advantages and if you can develop your pieces faster. And here, probably you can do that. So let's show the move.
Yep, let's see. Also, I'm just gonna throw one idea
if I remember.
out there. If you remember correctly. So what move is it?
It should be 95.
Yeah, it is 95. So I'm just gonna throw one idea out there to confuse you all. When you start playing chess, the way you're taught is that each piece has an individual, value basically, right? So you would say like a pawn is worth 1 point, a knight is worth 3 points, a rook is 5, queen is 9, some say 10, but that's not relevant. The point is that when you think about pieces, you think about their pretty much inner value outside of the position. So you think like a piece is worth that, but it's not really a good and useful way to look at chess. Because I could set up a position where I only have a few pieces and you have your whole army of pieces, but I do win because I'm the one who's delivering a checkmate. And that's very important to understand. So when you pay too much attention to material and you value it in points and specifically like think about these points while you're playing, it will develop quite a few biases in your thinking later on. Because every time there is some interesting idea that requires a sacrifice, you're gonna be like, no, I don't want to lose 3 points. Right? And that really prevents a lot of this exploration that fundamentally makes you better at chess. So yeah, it's something that I remember even like from my childhood, like when we played, you always think about the pieces this way, but I don't think that's a good thing to do. It actually prevents a lot of the learning later on. Like it creates a little shortcut when you start out, because like, oh, I don't want to, trade my queen for a pawn. So it kind of makes it easier for beginners to play, but then later on it becomes more of an issue because then you're like, okay, I don't want to lose my knight, I don't want to lose my pawn, because like I don't want to lose my points, and you're playing a game online and you're like, oh, the computer says like I'm down 2 points here, it must be that I'm losing. And that's a very dangerous thing for your improvement. Let's put it that way. And this position is a good example where white's piece is already penetrating, black's pieces are barely developed, can barely move. So white has a lot of potential, meaning that their pieces have many pathways into the black's position, which could potentially cause a lot of harm and potentially win even more material. So this is a beautiful sacrifice. And what's interesting with this last move that white played is that white is trying to open up even more lines toward the king. So for example, as of now, the queen cannot go here and attack because there is a knight that would take it. The rook cannot go here and attack because there is a pawn blocking the way. So when you play knight d5, it's like, oh, you know, that seems like just a regular trade. But what happens instead is that if the trade happens and if the pawn takes, now this diagonal is open for the queen and this file is open for the rook. So essentially what white does is that they open up more pathways toward this king. But let's see if that's actually what happened in the game. Yep, I predicted that. So the trade happened. And now black plays king f7, trying to escape. So now this is where we're gonna test your memory skills. What do you think white plays next?
Oh my God. I don't think I have seen the exact move. I have seen the final position.
Even better.
So
you can figure it out on your own.
I have to.
I'm gonna put put you on the spot here.
Okay. I'm having a lesson actually, but Zhenya is a great coach. I was thinking how he's explaining this position to opening the game, and I feel like, wow, this is really interesting to me even. I'm like, okay, because I've been playing chess for 17 years, maybe a bit more already. But Zhenya definitely has a talent to explain something.
Thank you.
Okay.
What do you play now?
What I would
Trying
play...
to distract everyone from the board. Smart. Buying yourself a few minutes to think.
Sure. Well, what do we have here? We have knight g5 check. At first, I would consider all the checks. So I don't know the move. I'm explaining my thoughts. I would consider queen f3. I would consider queen h5. I would consider knight g5. What else? What else? Maybe...
Okay, the idea is actually quite complicated.
The idea is actually quite complicated.
Yeah, I mean, the move itself is logical. It's one of the moves that you mentioned, but in one of the lines, the idea itself is very tricky. So yeah, it's not easy to spot. So, you know, trust your instincts. What move would you play?
Yeah, sure. Well, I would... Yeah, give me 1 second. I want to calculate.
No. Trust your instincts. You'll see. You'll get it right.
Queen h5.
Yeah, queen h5 is the right
like
move. You see, your intuition is much better than you think.
Then g6.
So g6 is a move that wasn't played in the game, and this is where the line is a little, you know, not very trivial. So if g6, the best move is queen to e2. And this is a weird looking move at first because you're not attacking the king directly. But the idea is that later when you jump away with your knight, the queen will be able to penetrate and attack the king directly, which is going to be a very powerful combo here. So, but that's not something that is easy to see. It would take a lot of time to calculate such things.
Yeah, but what's the difference between this queen e2 here and queen h5, queen e2?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I'm going to be honest.
Let's try to understand. Well, if queen e2...
I'm guessing like there's an additional escape square. So potentially later, even if you check, my king could escape over here and somehow it could be relatively safe, but it's quite complicated. Like it could be covered by the bishop, but I could totally be wrong. And, you know, it's a tricky position. Not sure. So I guess in that line, it's a bit different, but, you know, let's just see what happened in the game. So yeah, the queen, sorry. haven't played chess for so long that don't even remember where the knight was. So queen h5, right?
Oh.
So instead, black played something else. They played king g8, which is also quite logical, trying to hide the king and, you know, stay protected by these pieces. But what do you think white plays next?
Queen e8.
Yep, that's definitely the right move. But why was it the first move that came to your mind?
We wanna block the knight from moving because it's gonna be a protector, and also I have seen the queen on e8.
Okay, at least you're honest, yeah. And for the audience, what Diana meant is that the knight is unable to move because white would deliver a checkmate. So because of that, all of the black's pieces are completely tied down. So the bishop cannot move because of the pin. The rook cannot move because of the king. The knight cannot move because of the checkmate that I just showed. The bishop cannot move because it has no squares. The rook cannot move because it's blocked by the bishop. So black has so many pieces, but they're unable to move.
Can play.
Yep. That's the only one. So that's one of these set positions where you look at the board and you're like, okay, every move sucks and I'm probably losing. And this is where most players go crazy and they start giving away pieces and they start being very aggressive and losing 3 moves. So my advice to you is that even if your position sucks, just wait and your opponent could be the first one to mess it up. So just don't ruin the position yourself. That's the most common mistake. Okay, so in the game, black played queen takes d5. Which, again, I understand why they played it. But now the move is very straightforward. White comes in with the knight, hits the queen, hit the rook. And pretty much no matter what black plays, the rook is taken. White is actually up some material. And the position is completely winning. Black's pieces are still terrible. White is up material. They can go on attack or do whatever. So I think around here we can pretty much stop the analysis. But in this position, what I would say is that even at this level, who are the players? Oh, this is actually a game from chess.com, really? Okay, wow. So it's a game from chess.com, played by 2200, 2288, and 2224. I'm guessing these are chess.com ratings, but I'm not really sure what it means. It says chess.com INT, international. Maybe some sort of tournament, or I don't know what that is. But even at this level, like 22, 2300, it's very common to see very obvious mistakes. So if you're in a position like this one, it sucks. You're about to likely get destroyed, but I would suggest you don't ruin it. So when you go queen d5, it kind of makes it even easier for white to win. So maybe you just do nothing and you wait, and maybe your opponent messes it up. Who knows? So maybe you like push the pawn or something to open up a pass for the bishop, and you wait and maybe white starts attacking in some wrong way and that may give you some counterplay. Let me give you an example. Let's say you play whatever, let's say b5, with an idea of later having an option to get your bishop out. So let's say white plays knight g5, trying to checkmate you from both directions. Now you can jump in with the knight, covering that square and this square with the bishop. So there's no checkmate. White would probably go f4 and try to get you over here. And maybe this is where you could get some potential counterplay, who knows? Maybe you could go for some check and attack from here. Maybe you could even try to like sacrifice a few things and try to like set up some mating attack. But basically you have a few more ideas. I probably overestimated it a bit, but still, you could try to set something up, right? So you could, I don't know, even move the bishop, you lose the rook, but now you come in with the knight and trying to jump in there. Of course, the position is lost, but at least you're in the game, right? Like you're having some ideas and you could try to survive. But yeah, again, and that was kind of like a good line for white. If they go for some bad lines, you could have even more chances to survive. So a lot of the times people are going to look at the position and be like, oh, I don't see how they'll win. And then they're going to start making some weird moves. Or they're going to start relying on some rules. So you're going to be like, oh, I need more pieces in my attack. I'm going to go rook e1, trying to get the rook involved. And then boom, checkmate, and you lose. So chess in a lot of ways is a mental game. So don't give up. Don't ruin your position. If your position sucks and losing, okay, accept that and keep on waiting until your opponent messes it up. And most of the time you will still lose, but some of the time you will get lucky and you will save your games.
Yeah, thanks, Zhenya. That's absolutely great what you're talking about, and I would suggest you guys to try to find it yourself some more ways to protect, to defend this position. Maybe even try to practice, I don't know, try to analyze the position and then put it on the board against your friend and try to win as black, because sometimes this is the most useful skill you can have ever learned. Zhenya, that was a very interesting analyzing. I am really, really grateful for this. And guys, tell us if you liked it, if you enjoyed our analysis and Zhenya's lesson, and what do you think about this idea? Don't give up, but from the other point of view of the Grandmaster. Thank you. We're going to the other topic, to the game.